John, City Limits and I just had a fun little exercise last hour where if I put him in charge of all four of the major sports as the commissioner, what changes he would make. So for baseball, is the obvious one and the one that we both agreed upon, is it the salary cap and floor?
I would like to see that. I used to be a proponent of, I like kind of the free market deal, and I know the players certainly do because, that drives up the salaries. But, yeah, it's to the point now where something has to be done with the salary floor, too, because you just have some teams that just don't want to spend it all. And I think if there were a floor and a cap, that it would certainly at least – I don't know if you'd ever have total parity in baseball, but I think it would even things out more, and it would force teams who don't spend to at least try to spend and try to put a competitive product on the field year after year.
Now, to tie into that a little bit, I know that you had a piece come out earlier this week. The relationship between Bob Nutting and Ben Cherington doesn't seem to be in the greatest setting as of right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it bad at this point, but I do think it was they were surprised when Bob Nutting came out on June 21st when the day the Pirates announced their partnership with Sheets for the patch on the sleeves of the jerseys, that he basically implied, if he did not say outright, but he implied that they would do what it takes within reason to try to put a contending team on the field, add to the, if they were in contention in July, which they are, they're still within striking distance of the wild card, that they would do what they could to upgrade the offense. But I've had two people in the front office tell me that was not the case, and they were surprised and they were a little upset that they were basically told there was no money left after they'd spent. And I mean, in fairness, they did spend some money in the off season, and they signed Mitch Keller in spring training to the extension, but that was pretty much it, unless they were able to move some players that had some salary to offset whatever type of salary they would bring back in a trade. And that kind of frustrated some of the front office people.
Pirates are 44-48 as of right now. They are still in the conversation, in the thick of things in the NL wildcard race. Their playoff odds are just over 7%. As we are just about 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away from the MLB trade deadline, what strategy do you think, do you anticipate the Pirates taking?
I don't see them making big additions. I really don't. And I could be totally wrong, because the thing about the July, Donnie, is the trade deadline is so fluid from day to day, even hour to hour sometimes, on who's talking to who and how aggressively teams decide to pursue players, or maybe have a couple of losses and all of a sudden think our chances are worse and back off. But if I were to predict how this is going to go, I don't think they're going to make a big addition, even if they can. And the reason I say that, because they really have not gained any traction this season since they started out 9-2. They win a couple, they lose a couple, they win a couple, they lose a couple. They need to go on a winning streak, and they need to do it pretty soon. They need to rip off 5 or 6 games in a row to get back up, to even with the rest of the wild card leaders, and then put themselves in position, hopefully for their sake, to take off the final 2 months. So I really think it's going to depend on how they do here, even these next couple days before the break, and then coming out of the break, they have a homestand with Philly and St. Louis. So as of now, if they just keep kind of spinning their wheels like they have for so long, I don't think they're going to be a big buyer.